Hi, dear twin flames out there. This is Dagmar, the spiritual healer. It's Tuesday, May 14th, 2019 today, and I am here to talk to you today about twin flames and past life regression. Why is it important to do past life regression? You know, how is it affecting us in present time? Why past life regression in the twin flame journey? But before I get into all of that, I would like to say that if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. I would love that. Also, if you like this video, please press the like button. I'd like to, that would be awesome. And I also would love to hear from you. So if you have comments about the video or questions or anything you want to share, I would love to hear from you. Do comment. You can leave a comment at the video. So that'd be awesome. And I also want to let you know that I am a spiritual healer. I do quantum healings, I do past life regressions, and I have a tremendous amount of soul wisdom in terms of how our soul works. And I've resolved many, many different issues for people, not just twin flames, but other people that are not on the twin flame journey. That have, whether it's health issues, relationship issues, chronic pain issues, I mean, you name it, situational issues, work issues, issues with people who are a thorn in your side, all kinds of stuff. Because in essence, what we do is we create our reality from within our vibration as to what we carry in our vibration, in our energy. And so I fully understand how we manifest things and how to shift things so that we can manifest something different, something that we like as opposed to something we don't like. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about past life regressions. Now, there was a comment somebody recently, or a question somebody posed for me on my group. I have a Facebook group called Twin Flame Relationships, in case you guys want to participate. That'd be awesome. And the question was that she had heard that most twin flames don't reincarnate together until their last life, I guess, so to speak, before union. And I have to say that that is such hogwash, okay? Because at least from my experience, because I've done many, many past life regressions with twin flames, and all of them have had one or more past lifetimes with their twin flame, including myself. I've had many, many past lifetimes with my twin flame. Your twin flame is nothing more than just another soul, another human being that incarnates for the purpose of experiences. All right, just like you and I. And it's much like soulmates, if you will. We reincarnate together with soulmates. We travel in soul groups, and we do that with our twin flame too. It's just in the past we probably weren't aware that they were our twin flame. But yes, so we've had many, many lifetimes with our twin flame. And what happens as a result of having lifetimes or living life in general is we experience pain. And whether it's emotional, physical, or mental, pain is pain. And unfortunately, sometimes the pain is so intense that we just can't fully digest it as we would normally do, right? So what happens is it becomes this unresolved experience hanging out with you, all right? And this unresolved experience then has an effect on you, okay? It affects you in different ways. Now, in this, we do carry these unresolved experiences from our past lifetimes as well as this life. So what happens is that our soul wants to learn from our experiences, but unfortunately it can't learn from an experience that we haven't fully digested or fully completed, if you will. And so as a result of that, we keep recreating similar situations in our lives to mimic the original situation energetically. At least the circumstances might be slightly different, but energy-wise it's kind of very similar. And so that we hopefully on a subconscious level reconnect with the unresolved experience and hopefully digest it, which I call healing, and so that the soul can actually learn from it. Okay? And it's a fascinating process how this works on a soul level, and it's incredible how much of our past lives we keep recreating in our present time as a result of these unresolved experiences. I've experienced it with many, many different clients, and this is the same for whether you are a twin flame or have a twin flame, or if you're not, or whether you're on your twin flame journey or not. These truths I'm telling you are truths for everyone. Okay? So, and you'd be surprised how much of your past lifetimes are actually affecting you in the present time. How much you are recreating things. And I'll give an example out of my own life, okay? Because when I first embarked on the twin flame journey, when I met my twin flame, it started opening up this whole spiritual field for me. And I soon thereafter realized that I had been living most of my life in this life in repetition of another lifetime. And that included actually having a son and raising a son without his father. It was a complete repetition of another lifetime. And it was a lifetime that was actually very painful for me. And this is a lifetime I actually describe in my book that I had written, because it was such a profound story. And in conjunction with meeting my twin flame and the meaning of all of it and so forth, and my awakening throughout. Anyway, the book is called Meeting My Twin Flame. You can find it on my website, or you can find it on Amazon. But in any case, I was basically living in repetition of this other lifetime, including having a son and raising him without a father, and all of that stuff was a repetition. Then I also realized or recognized throughout my journey with my twin flame that I had actually drowned in front of my twin flame in another lifetime. That was actually right before this lifetime, and we were actually young kids. It wasn't anybody's fault. It just, we were playing, him and I, we were around about 10, 12 years old, playing in a lake, in the woodsy lake. And, I couldn't swim. And I had followed my twin flame, who could swim. He was a boy, I was a girl, into this lake, playing. And I was tiptoeing on stones until I got so deep, into the water. And there was a current, and it just swept my feet under and just kind of swept me under. And what was amazing about, this particular lifetime in how it manifested itself in our present lives. And, when I started realizing that that's what had happened, and that's what we were recreating, my twin flame and I was speaking to him in words such as, don't take me too deep into the waters with you because you'll drown me. I would actually say these things to him. Okay. Then I was experiencing this horrendous allergy toward water all of a sudden. That was another sign. And then we experienced this temporary sort of quiet separation where we didn't speak. And I think it was actually to mimic our death and separation as I had died. And, then when we came back together, he said to me things like, well, I thought I'd never see you again because you were saying that I was drowning you. And so it was just fascinating how we were recreating energetically this lifetime of my drowning. And interesting was that when I actually spoke to my twin flame about it, when I finally started figuring out what was happening, that we were actually recreating this past lifetime, and I spoke to him about it, he goes, and you can't swim, can you? And I said, I can swim in this life, but I couldn't swim in that life. So he actually remembered. He was remembering that I couldn't swim, interestingly enough. And what also was fascinating, he shared with me, this is in confirmation of how we repeat things in our life as a result of unresolved experiences. He shared with me that he had experienced when he was in this lifetime as a young boy around age of 10 or 12 with his friend, another drowning. And it was his friend. And, similar energies around it. They were fishing out on a lake or something like that. And, the friend had jumped into the water to unhook his line. His fishing line got hooked on some brush and never came back up. The current swept him under, and they found him the next day downstream somewhere, dead. And, in fact, my twin flame had carried so much guilt around my drowning in the past lifetime that in this particular drowning that he had re-experienced as a repetition of that, he was so guilt-ridden that it was mirrored by his reality, so much so that people accused him of that it was his fault that this friend of his drowned. And he shared all this with me. It was very, very fascinating. And so, consequently, I ended up doing a healing on that lifetime to release all that, unresolved energy around that. There was a lot of guilt on his end and a lot of sadness on my end, because I remember when I first went into that pain memory, and I must have used up an entire hanky box. I was crying so hard. And it was interesting because my memory was of actually my soul leaving my body and not being able to speak to him anymore, and seeing his sadness and his leaning over my body, not being able to save me, not being able to do anything, and his pain, emotional pain around me having drowned. And so it was very emotional. It's getting me emotional now, still thinking about it, but there was such an emotion between, for that separation of both of us, and interestingly enough, as a soul, I had the feelings even after I left my body, So the sadness, the grief can then show up even for those people who are passing to the other side, which is interesting, not just for the people who stay here, And so I remember just, oh my gosh, crying so much. And so I healed all of that, and guess what? My water allergy suddenly disappeared, right? So that's how we recreate, sometimes our past lifetimes, and, how much we relive it. And so, I'm here to say that as in your twin flame journey, I would highly recommend doing some past life regressions and doing some healings on those past lives, because this is the reason why your twin flame has come to see you in this life, is to resolve some of this stuff you guys have been carrying, perhaps throughout lifetimes, that hasn't been resolved. Certain pain, certain emotional pain, and it could be emotional pain from even separations, and that is probably why some of you guys are living in separations, because you're recreating separations from past lifetimes. And so it can shift the energy, the dynamic in your twin flame ship so incredibly. But most of all, the really key aspect to all this is that, you resolving your unresolved past, this includes past lifetimes, makes you a better you. Because if you don't have the unresolved past, all this these energies that are unresolved, that you keep carrying with you, is what creates the dysfunction in your life, is what causes you fear, is what causes you stress. You keep recreating this stuff, and while you're it acts as clutter to your soul, so that you cannot focus on what really matters in life when you are preoccupied constantly with this past life unresolved stuff. And yes, it may be great for those of you who are utilizing the power of now to disconnect from that, but it's only a temporary solution. Your soul will keep trying to reconnect you with it, okay? And some of you may not even be able to completely disconnect from the pain stuff because it's there, it's going to come up, it's going to show up in your life at some point. Because your soul, like I say, wants to learn from your experiences and can't do that until you heal them, until you process them. So my recommendation is to go for it, find a good past life regressionist. I, for one, am one. I also don't focus only on past life regression, but rather to actually help you digest the pain that's there and reconcile things that on a soul level that are, let's say we could make decisions, right, out of pain that we experience. So sometimes it requires seeing what we had decided and how we're running off of that today, and then changing it in that moment. Sometimes our soul can actually split and fracture, and we can lose pieces of ourselves as a result of pain. That's all part of my healing process, okay? So it's not just about seeing your past life, but it's actually about helping you process the undigested pain portion, help you understand the decisions that you've made, and change them if necessary. Sometimes we have spiritual contracts also. I've had some with my twin flame as well that can be resolved, that you no longer have to live. Sometimes it's about, reintegrating your lost soul pieces and, becoming whole again, finding yourself. And all of that contributes to your present time life, to be able to become whole and to function as the best you can possibly function and thrive as a soul. For us, with this energetic shift we're moving through, it's no longer enough to just put your head to the grindstone and survive as a soul. Our soul wants now to thrive. It wants to be able to fully express who you are, all of your intricacies, and blossom into the flower that you are meant to be, that you're designed to be. And so part of that is really resolving this unresolved stuff that is a clutter to our soul, that keeps preventing us from thriving, from moving forward, from creating what it is we're really designed to create, and from engaging in our soul purpose. And some of us even have a hard time reading what it is that we're supposed to be doing, what our soul purpose is, because of all that clutter in our soul. We can't see beyond that. We can't hear ourselves properly, and so forth. So I would highly recommend past life regressions. Like I say, find a good past life regressionist, or you can contact me. I would love to work with you. I love doing this kind of work. I also, by the way, teach quantum healing, past life regression, all the different soul wisdom, and the ancient spiritual truths. So if you are inclined to want to become a healer, to want to make a difference on a spiritual level out there, there is so much need out there for us to heal, for us to become whole again, for us to reintegrate our souls and learn from our experiences. There's such need out there. There's so many people waking up right now to their gifts and wanting to help. And sometimes you find yourself in a situation you don't know how, you don't know what exactly to do. Well, I have devised a program where I mentor you through the process of actually learning this stuff and how to create a business with it. So if you are inclined to want to do so, I wish that you would contact me, get in touch, and we can see if we can work together. I'm happy to give you a complimentary consultation, kind of discovery session, and go from there. Or you can just get a private healing session with me and do a past life regression on things, and we can help you on your journey to move forward and to shift the dynamic between you and your twin flame so that you can more focus on the love aspect of it and grow as a person, that why you came together with your twin flame in the first place. So I wish you all the best, and I hope you get in touch. I hope this video made sense to you, and if you liked it, please like it. If you like the channel, please subscribe, and I'd love to hear from you if you want to comment. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon again.